What's going on, everybody? This is Chris G, and I hope y'all doing all right. Now, I just wanted to talk about something that it took place back in March. Some of y'all may have heard about the story or may have not, but I thought this was like a pretty wild, bizarre story. And basically, it's three children that they robbed a Wells Fargo bank in Houston back in March. They did that in the Greens Point area in Houston. And traditionally, that's a pretty, rough area. I haven't been to Houston in a long time. They may have possibly cleaned that spot up area, but I know they had like a nickname for that place, Greens Point. I won't say the nickname of it. I don't want to like uh, trigger certain stuff with the algorithm, but they had a certain nickname for that area. But moving right along, you had three children, juvenile age, three boys. They were the ages are range from 11, 12, and 16. you know, and this happened back on March 14th of this year, 2024. And basically, these young boys, they went inside the bank, and I read the news report. I didn't see anything about that they had a weapon or anything. I was trying to read a report. I didn't see anything about a weapon, but they went in there and basically handed a note to a clerk and demanded the money that they wanted. And then they basically ended up taking off and running out of the bank with a undisclosed amount of money. And then eventually these boys were finally caught. And the authorities put out information about these young boys. This made it all the way to the FBI. And when I think about this, it's just like, my goodness, man. Uh, you got the alphabet boys looking at this stuff. That's pretty heavy duty, you know. And they were locked up. I think they may have been locked up in a detention center, and I'm quite sure they did some time. They were charged with. Let me see. I got it in my notes. They were charged with robbery by threat. Okay. And so I'm quite sure they had to do some time with that. But I just got to tell you, that this is pretty bizarre, and like I said, you got the FBI looking in on this stuff, and the FBI gave them the name, the Little Rascals, okay, and I just got to say this is some pretty wild, bizarre stuff. I can remember being around that age, 11, 12, 16. Back then when I was growing up, it never crossed my mind ever in my mind to be trying to rob a bank, grocery store, any type of stuff like that. Back then, man, I was thinking about, playing sports, pickup game of basketball, playing football, I'm saying, out there with your friends, kids from around the neighborhood, play sandlot baseball, some of they got a baseball bat, got some gloves, sometimes we didn't have a regular baseball. We used a tennis ball, and we just go out there and play, doing stuff like that, riding bikes, watching movies, playing video games. We had our favorite TV shows. We were not trying to concoct an idea about robbing a bank, man. And I'll even go as far as to say this. And back in that time when I grew up, you know, excuse me, if I ever wanted some money, I'm telling you right there, I got that money the old-fashioned way. I ended up going to get a job somewhere. Now my parents wouldn't really let me work during during the school year, but like during the summer, I got a summer job, and I saved up the money, you know. And if there was a time where, I may have not been old enough to work, let's say if I was like 11 or 12, because I don't think they allow them nowadays to have a job at that age at a lot of places, So like back then, what I would do is, and the other people that I knew, we would like go collect, aluminum cans, collect, old bottles type of stuff. And we would go, turn that in and take it to the recycling place, get some money off that, or we would go cut grass. I remember back in the day when I was growing up, this is before all this crazy inflation stuff, we would go, because I grew up in the projects, man. I came from humble beginnings, and we would just go to different people's you know, apartment units and be like, hey, you know, would you like your grass cut? And we would just, you know, I would just charge, it'd be like, you know, charge like $10, you know, 10, 12, something like that. And we just cut it. And I had like a push lawnmower. I didn't even have one of those, the electric ones. Well, not electric, with the gas ones, I'm sorry. You know, when you pull the cord, I just had one that was the push lawnmower with the blades on it and just ran that sucker over and cut the grass and got some money. You know, that's what we did back in the day, you know. And I'm quite sure there was, you know, certain places, you know, probably like the big cities, New York, LA, you know, probably had, you know, like kids that were around, you know, 11, 12, 16, you know, stick up kids doing stuff, you know, back then. But it's just, I really don't think you have as much of it. I don't think you had as much of it back then today like you do now. You know, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But like, I just really think you have more of it, like definitely more of it now. You know, like I said, back then you know, the kids I grew up with, especially the neighborhood I was in, we was about earning it the old fashioned way. You know, what they say nowadays, getting it out the mud. That's what we did. You know, if you might have had a toy or something you didn't want no more, or some video games, you just sold them. You know, got some money off that. You know, things like that, man. So like, it's just really wild to hear about these young kids going over here to rob this bank. I don't know where they got the inspiration to do this from. Maybe it might be movies, video games might have influenced them. You know, there's a lot of influential stuff out there in the media today. But I just got to say, this is pretty heavy duty, and I hope that no more young people. I don't want any young people to get inspired to do this type of stuff. Because you know, you never know. These young kids, you know, if other kids try to do, they might get hurt or something like they're trying to do this stuff. And if they you know, if they have some type of weapon on them, you know, God forbid, man, law enforcement see it. You never know. They I hate to say it, but something may go down. Something may go down, and you know, and some of those kids might, you know, they might, you know, they might get X'd out. You know, I hate to say that, but you know, things like this have happened in this country before. So I really just hope I don't see any more of this type of stuff with the youth of today. I really hope not. And I hope that these young folks learned a valuable lesson. They're under 18, you know, so they're not fully adults yet. But I really hope they learn from this and just really understand that doing this type of stuff, it's really dangerous, and it really can lead you down a real bad path in life. You know, so, you know, they're young. They got a chance to build themselves up and have positive lives. They could do, you know, awesome, incredible things the right way, the legal way, you know. So I just hope that they really learn from this and just move forward in a positive way. But yeah, that's all I had to say. This is Chris G. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Peace.